On behalf of the more than 100 members of the Kansas Buffalo Association and 1,100 members of the National Bison Association, we welcome you to the 2018 National Bison Association Summer Conference.
Our warmest welcome.
We hope you enjoy your stay.
We'd like to welcome you to the ranch.
We'd like to extend our warmest welcome.
Welcome to Kansas.
Welcome.
We extend our warmest welcome.
We extend our warmest welcome.
The operators in Kansas join you as we
Showcase our lands and wildlife.
Improve pen management.
Preserve our heritage.
Educating the next generation.
promote Kansas's natural history.
Leaving a legacy.
Educate consumers.
We welcome you, and we hope you're right at home here in the Heartland.
Hi, I'm Eva Yearout. On behalf of the Z-Bar Ranch staff, we'd like to welcome you to the ranch.
Call this the wetlands. It's a wetland food plot. It's an old oxbow in the Salt Fork of the Arkansas River. When we first got here, there was water running out of it for the first few years. It used to be a 650-acre wheat field when we got here. We planted the majority of it back to native grass. All the cottonwood trees that you see down there have grown since we came. It used to be farmland. It was all terraced, and it tried to divert all the water away from it. We cut some of the terraces, and it led to erosion problems, so that idea didn't work. So we finally came up with the idea of getting some water rights. So we applied for some water rights from the Kansas Department of Agriculture. We're granted 298 acre-feet of water, which is enough water to fill the wetlands twice a year. We have 4 wells over there that we can pump 800 gallons a minute from, but we don't like to use the energy, so we actually put 6 solar wells or pumps down the wells, and we can pump anywhere from 250, 300 gallon a minute when the sun's shining, using solar power. Last year we pumped 32 million gallons into the wetland. We don't get much runoff, so that's basically why we have a wetland. 32 million gallons sounds like a lot till you think that a 1-inch rain over a section of land is 17 million gallons. So we did the equivalent of a 2-inch rainfall over a section of land. witchgrass right here. This is Indian grass right here. There's a little bit of the seed head off of it. And this plant right here is little blue stem. One of the interesting things that we've noticed over the years we've been here is the river. As we've grazed it in a timely manner, 2 to 3 weeks out of the year, the river has narrowed and deepened. Where I'm standing now, 20 years ago, we'd been standing in about an inch of water. It's now growing native grass in it, some bushes and some unwanted salt cedar, but we think it's stabilized the banks. Well, we know it's stabilized the banks. There's less erosion in the stream. We think the water's cooler. It has a chance to last through the summer more than it usually goes dry. After the fire, the river went dry. Every summer before, except for one, the river has quit running sometime in late summer. So we think this is a very good thing. There are people that don't think that. They think that it is a little hard on some species that need that wide, 100-foot wide, 1-inch deep water, but they can go on the neighbors to get that, I guess. So I like what's happening here. The erosion is less. The banks are stable. I think it's a good thing. We have 136 miles of fence on the ranch, and we have to repair probably 90% of that. The high tensile fence can't take the heat in those conditions, and it was a hot fire. Wind was blowing 40 miles an hour, humidity less than 10%. It was an unstoppable fire. Short term, it was pretty nasty, but long term, it was the best thing that ever happened to the ranch. It got rid of trees that we'd been trying to kill with our prescribed fires. They were just impossible to get down enough heat down in those canyons. A cedar tree, you need to get a cedar tree to 130 to 140 degrees and you can kill it. You don't exactly have to burn it up, and cedar trees are a big problem out here. They're an invasive species to us. All they do is provide perches for raptors that are hard on the prairie birds. And they use a lot of water. They're drying out the country. Trees are a terrible problem out here they're just using up all the underground water. Since the fire, we've noticed a lot more spring activity, and to us, that's good long term. The prairie dogs. When we came, there were less than 30 acres of prairie dogs on the ranch. They had been actively trying to kill them for years. We think prairie dogs are important to the prairie. They're a keystone species. There's lots of insects and animals that rely on them just for shelter from the cold and from the heat. So right now, depending whether Dustin measures them or whether I measure them, it ranges between 600 and 500 to 600 acres of prairie dogs now. We've started 8 new towns. Hopefully you need approximately at least 1,200 acres to have a reasonable chance of getting some black-footed ferrets. So we've been kind of slow. We like to use the buffalo to graze to provide keep the grass down. It's pretty easy to get rid of prairie dogs here. You just don't graze it in the summer, and the predators will catch them all. We do have let a couple towns on the border that our neighbors didn't like them, so we actually let those prairie dog towns die out. The predators caught them all. So we've done all of our work with prairie dogs right here in the center part of the ranch, so we don't bother the neighbors. But we're still several years away from having enough acres of prairie dogs to get black-footed ferrets, but they're pretty cool little animals, meanest little things I know of. So.
We have 4 full-time employees, and then we have a summer intern that comes and helps us, and we also have 2 people that help us when we do our bison works. We do work all the animals once a year, typically in February, and at that time we worm them, give them any vaccinations they need, check to make sure that they have all 3 forms of their ID or replace IDs if we need to, and then we also wean the calves at that time. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the tour.